Hi, it's Ileana. Today I am going to go back to Antarctica. I had recently written a book about the various things happening with advanced technologies being developed in Antarctica, experimental technologies that have to do with directed energy weapons, cloning, crash retrieval of extraterrestrial crafts, studies of extraterrestrial bodies, molecular science, biology, that there's secret military operations and medical research facilities under Antarctica studying extraterrestrials and what's been retrieved from the crash site 5 years ago near or in Antarctica. Some bodies were alive, some were not. They were put in basically stasis pod coffins to keep some of them alive and some of them just to preserve the bodies for study. And some of these kraken type aquatic beings had surgery to stabilize them so they wouldn't die. They look humanoid but different from us. And this was a series of remote viewings on these subjects, but recently another remote viewing happened that has to do with the large cloning facility and laboratory under Antarctica that's doing cloning of human beings, that is to basically for harvesting organs and body parts. That's why humans are cloned. Also, they're studying their blood analysis of these clones, the blood analysis of the original human beings that were cloned and the clones, to see if there's any markers, biogenetic markers for human extraterrestrial hybridization programs, if any of these humans have been hybridized, or if they have any ET genetics themselves, extraterrestrial genetics, as ET origins. So that's being done, and they're being tagged and biomarkered for tracking as well. So they are being biogenetically tagged with markers to track them, to see what they do, and if any of their families also have any connections to extraterrestrials and if they have contact. So this cloning center is really a place that is not a good place. It is disgusting. They keep humans strapped down to tables. They keep humans in stasis pods. They keep humans in cloning chambers that are on pulley systems that rotate to put humans in and out of it, to clone, to do all kinds of other biological warfare experiments with humans. So it's really things to do with virology, energy weapons, cloning, and study of extraterrestrial life, study of reverse engineered spacecrafts, energy directed weapons that can create mind and body sickness. So this is stuff happening in Antarctica, and this cloning facility is deep under the ice. It is in a cavern system that was expanded, and it's been run since the 1980s, apparently, from what the remote viewing shows. And there's a lot going on with disclosure right now, with David Grush coming forward, saying that supposedly the US government has been hiding a reverse engineering program of extraterrestrial crafts, that there's the program that is doing the retrieval of crashed craft, and that this has been kept secret for 80 years. He said 80 years. That's also in my remote viewing, that the US government and other governments have kept secret the reverse engineering of UFO crafts, and that there's been programs for crash retrieval of crafts. So things in the remote viewing that I did from May 20th to May 22nd seem to have a degree of accuracy that is now coming out in the public in whistleblowers filing complaints to Senate and Congress, and other whistleblowers saying that they have information about the US government, that the US government has 12 to 15 non-human crafts that have been studied and attempted to be reverse engineered. So that info came out on June 7th, and David Grush's info came out June 5th, 2023. So there's a cascade effect happening of truth coming out. The type of truth that I'm disclosing is somewhat dark and it's somewhat morbid. Cloning centers, cloning facilities, harvesting of human body parts, harvesting organs, growing clones, making clones just to harvest organs. This is what I was seeing in the remote viewing several times, and it's happening in remote locations like Antarctica. Antarctica is not just a place to study neutrinos and ionosphere and how neutrinos connect to different things in astrophysics and the study of space. Antarctica is a place where secret submarines are also being built on nuclear fusion. So some of the other whistleblowers that came forward on June 7, 2023 said that one of the crafts looked like a helicopter that looked like a mix of a submarine, a deep sea submarine, something between a helicopter and a bunch of other things mixed in together. So it was a test craft. So things about black helicopters, information that has been disclosed for a while that have stealth technology, I think that connects to that type of a craft. SSP experiencers have been disclosing that the earliest SSP factions actually used converted submarines for spaceflight until they built out more advanced crafts to go to space. So none of this information and details coming forward, what the US government has been reverse engineering from extraterrestrial crafts, that is not surprising to me. It's finally coming out as truth and being reported to Congress and Senate. And again, will Congress and Senate fully investigate it? Apparently, they might need further top clearance levels to even do it, to get upgrades to clearances, to even go and investigate what the Pentagon does not want them to find out. The intelligence community, the Pentagon, they've been keeping these secrets. It's the extraterrestrial advanced technology embargoes, 1930s, 20s, 40s, 50s, and onwards. They know how to cover up these secrets. They know how to keep a lot of different programs on planet and off-world pretty secret. And the fact that there's this new law protecting whistleblowers, the moment you become a whistleblower, you can whistleblow the truth. Whether somebody will believe you or not, that's a different story, but it's making media headlines. Even mainstream media is starting to pick all this up and talk about it, actually disseminate it. Is this true or is this fake? Is it staged? Can this be real? Can the government, US government, keep such secrets? Of course it can. It's kept secrets since almost 80 years ago, 90 years ago. So this is nothing surprising. It's just the beginning of what could even come out further in disclosure, because this is the phase, this is the stage that has been set up to begin this kind of disclosure, to leak these secrets out. That's how it's being staged and phased. That was the plan all along. This is not a coincidence. All these contractors and intelligence community assets, agents, and officers in the military army coming forward is, I believe, it's part of an organizational program to do it, to start disclosing the deep, dark secrets that some factions of military and government never want to come out, but others do. So it's that point. 2023 is the pivotal starting point where this starts to come out. And going forwards throughout the years, even more will come out. Scientists like Gary Nolan has suddenly come out and said that 7 years ago, he was provided an opportunity to go study a craft of non-human origin, but then when that was supposed to happen, he was denied access to it, but he was given metamaterials of potentially non-human origin to analyze, and the results were interesting. People like that who work for Stanford don't just come out and say, hey, I almost got to experience studying a UFO. That's not very normal. Christopher Mellon, who now has come forward saying, oh yes, reverse engineering programs of extraterrestrial craft, that's real. He has been in the game actually organizing secret intelligence briefings with Senate and Congress for these types of intelligence officers to be able to come forward and disclose what they know about these programs. He's been setting that up for apparently a couple of years behind the scenes, and nobody knew about it. And before he said, oh, I don't know anything about these programs, I can't say anything. Classified. Now he's coming forward and talking. A bunch of these people are coming forward and talking. Ryan Graves is talking. He has been talking for several years. David Fravor, Navy officer. Kevin Day, radar specialist in the Navy. The Nimitz incident, that stuff where they've seen UFOs. The Tic Tacs, the gimbals, the cube-shaped UFOs with spheres flying around inside them, and these new contractors and Ryan Graves saying, we've seen spheres flying over military installations and nuclear facilities in the United States and other places. These spheres, they're coming from different extraterrestrial mothership crafts. They're investigating what's going on here on Earth. They're looking for secret underground illegal dump spaces that shouldn't be underground, like that cloning facility in Antarctica as an example. The 4 illegal bases under Alaska. Think what these probes are, what they're doing. They're also observing human evolution and what we're doing on this planet so that we don't destroy ourselves. These are observational probes, spheres. They come from different motherships. They could be coming from some of the ARC ships as well that are now activating. Some of these probes are not even metallic because they're saying they're metallic, and most of them are because they're scout probes. They're probes looking at us, what we're doing. But some of the spheres are actual orbs with different living beings inside them, or the consciousness of the beings also observing what we're doing. They're monitoring us. The ETs are monitoring our human progression and physical and soul evolution on this planet. That's what they're doing. They're here. Extraterrestrials have been here all along, observing us and seeing, are we ready to make contact or not? How far have we progressed? We've progressed towards an effort to do some disclosure that extraterrestrials are real, extraterrestrial crafts are real, Yes, the government has kept secrets, reverse engineering these crafts, and that they've been lying to us since forever. And a bunch of other programs are real, including space programs on Earth and off-world. More to come of that, I am sure, as well. I think I choose to report on this because we deserve to know the truth, and somebody needs to be boots on the ground, investigating, reporting this stuff, what's going on, and how it's all interconnected. I'm just trying to do some basic connecting of the dots, like actual research, and connect the dots, how all of these events are interconnected, and how what I find in my work also relates to this, how it all is part of the bigger picture here and what's going on. So I don't claim to be an independent journalist. I don't claim to be part of anything. I'm not connected to anyone. I'm just doing my own pure reporting and sharing the facts of my research and my work from remote viewing, from the research, and how it seems like there's a pattern of interconnection between all of the things happening now and what we're being disclosed now mainstream. This is going mainstream. You cannot remove this from the human consciousness anymore. You cannot sweep secrets under the rug. It just will not work anymore. That is not going to work. Old paradigm Earth systems fallen apart. This is the result of it, one of it, in the disclosure communities. Seeing more and more of what seems outrageous reporting coming forward, but it's real. It's not outrageous. This is just normal stuff that has been hidden from us. And those of us who have known about this, we're just, I guess, smiling with some relief that this is finally coming forward and being talked about and disclosed, hopefully taken more seriously in what it really is. A lot of darkness has been done behind our backs and perpetuated on the human race and extraterrestrials who were maybe unlucky to come here and get captured and caught, shot down, or a storm happening and it crashed the craft accidentally. Some of these crafts are more advanced than others, depending on the ET species and the beings there, or it could be just reconnaissance craft controlled by AI systems with nobody on them, no pilots. That ETs can do that as well. Another thing that was kept top secret is the mind control of humans to make super soldiers out of people. Normal people, everyday people who may have some psychic ability or are inclined towards being trained as soldiers, they're exposed to secret societies, they're exposed to secret military operations and programs that use MK Ultra mind control, drugs, and they teach you how to self-heal so that you can put yourself in a hypnotic state of healing and develop gifts and abilities beyond human comprehension. You become Superman, Superwoman, a super soldier. You're trained with firearms, you're trained with lasers, phasers, swords, you're trained to go on missions, you're drowned in bodies of water to toughen you up, to break you down, to remove fear, to remove pain, to desensitize you to those stimuli so that you become a tough soldier. That's what they're doing to humans. This is happening on Earth in top secret government-run programs, secret societies. You can call it whatever you want. The Cabal, the Illuminati, space programs, they all do it. They control people and they try to create super soldiers to get away with it and see how much they can push people to their limits and trigger and activate ability so that you survive and not die on these tough, excruciating missions that you go on, and you're expendable. If you die, you're just replaced with another super soldier. This is something nobody wants the public to know about, these types of programs, and they exist. So why do the handlers and controllers throw people into something like a pool, a hot tub, or a body of water and try to drown them? It's to literally, like I said before, toughen them up and to increase the person's survival skills. Make you hold your breath deep underwater for as long as you can so you don't black out and lose consciousness. And the more they do this to you, the more tougher supposedly you get. And it increases your survival rate, your survival skills, your determination and drive not to die and to keep going, to become tougher, to become stronger, to not be afraid of death, to not be afraid of fear and pain, to go beyond fear and pain, to remove that threshold of, suspending the body's prevention system that alerts you, this is too much. I shouldn't cross that threshold. If I do it, I'm not going to live. It's to remove that alert system. It's to remove healthy fear factor, healthy pain mechanisms, to make you a robot, to make you a machine, to make you a strong soldier, a super soldier. That's what that mechanism is designed to do. It is designed to literally make you superhuman, to go beyond all your limits, thresholds. Whatever is impossible is now possible, and it activates these abilities for self-protection, levitation, teleportation, opening portals, telepathically talking to others. Those abilities can be forced onto somebody with brutal force, like drowning somebody, to see what they will do to save themselves. Will they accidentally port themselves somewhere else? Will they open a portal by force of sheer will to survive and end up somewhere else so they don't drown? Or will they levitate out of the water to survive and not drown and not die? What will they do? Can they keep their consciousness alive through a hypnotic self-healing and keep being underwater and not losing breath because they're in a protective psychic bubble now around themselves, as they've hypnotically created that kind of an environment? What will you do to save yourself? What skills and abilities will be activated in you for self-preservation and self-survival skills? Break you down, torture you, create a super soldier. Drown you, create a super soldier. You become tough, you become strong, your senses increase. You're doing everything you can to survive. And they think that's thriving and living. It's not. It's a hell on earth or off planet and other places environment, but that's what they do to create super soldiers. It's a very dark, tough reality to disclose, but that is part of what exists beyond the normal scope of what we humans live. That's what can happen to living beings if they're taken a hold of a secret program or a mind control program or a space program. Some are lucky to just be support staff working in some cloning facility, working in some cybernetics labs. They don't see much action. They don't see much battles and warfare, but some do. Not so lucky. It depends on where you end up and where you're placed in these weird programs and how you do in them. Some don't do well, and some are sent home. Some are sent home if they don't do well. Some are kept because they do perform well and they excel. So they're placed in that 20 and back, 40 and back, 60 and back, or even 100 and back through time dilation technology. It's possible. There are bases on the moon and Mars. There's military space stations beyond what we're told. And there's crafts that can travel beyond the speed of light. It is not something out of the realm of science fiction. Real life is even weirder, much more weirder than what used to be considered science fiction. It's part of disclosure, and it will come out eventually, all of it. How long will it take? We'll see, but it's starting. This is a good beginning. It's part of that process. During the 1990s, there was a man named Andy Perro who had done several regression sessions and had an interview with Eve Lorgen, who was also a regression specialist. She did hypnosis. Andy claimed that he was a mind-controlled, made super soldier in the various programs and cults, that he had weapons training, that he was taught under hypnosis how to create self-healing environments for himself to survive and not die, to create a self-healing pool. So when he was jumping off of cliffs, going on secret mission programs to retrieve things for the military, time travel, going back to the time of the dinosaurs to retrieve soil samples. He claimed time travel was real and that he did it. He claimed that he was trained in special firearms, that he went on military missions. He was the first super soldier, supposedly, that he was trained to have certain gifts and abilities through hypnotic state to create healing states for himself so he wouldn't die on these missions. A lot of this sounds familiar because other SSP assets have said similar things. Andy Perro also said that he was part of the Montauk Project and sat in one of the Montauk chairs that was connected to various cameras, holographic technology, crystals, and that these Montauk chairs, allowed people to see, with thought consciousness, to see past events as they were happening in history, future events, near future, and even present events, as if you're there and experiencing it, sort of mind, thought, consciousness, time travel. You're not influencing or changing anything, you're just observing events. Also being able to, with these Montauk chairs, to enhance conscious ability so that you are able to open portal systems, portal yourself to different places, that the chair boosts your ability to do that. That sounds similar to something called the Neuralink chairs or the Trip chairs. SSP assets have discussed that. That connects that technology. You sit in it. It looks like a metallic chair type device with a visor on top of it or something else, or holographic interface system. You're sitting in it. It allows to connect with your thought consciousness in your mind. Holographically, you're able to see different histories, timelines, events on Earth and other planets. Again, mind consciousness, time travel, backwards in time, forwards in time, near present time periods, where you're seeing events as they're happening. Also to augment your mind ability to do portal travel and keep portals stable and open, to keep the energetic plasma fields of the portal systems open, to go from point A to B on the planet and elsewhere. So SSP assets have talked about that technology, but Andy Perro was the first to say that that happened to him in Montauk, in the Montauk chair, and that other boys were trained to do that as well in Montauk. What happened off Long Island, that experiment, Camp Hero, that particular experiment, and the Montauk Project, that this went on for years, human mind control experiments, human super soldier experiments with the mind, the body, and the consciousness to create super soldiers. And also, it was mentioned in the interview between Andy Pero and Eve Lorgen that all these trained, mind-controlled super soldiers have their own certain identification codes with letters and numbers to identify who they are in the programs and what missions they do. Same thing with secret space program SSP assets. Some of them have claimed to have identification codes, identification number sequences in who they are in whatever secret space program faction or group that they have worked for and done 20, 40, 50, 60 and back through time dilation, time travel technology. They've claimed that as well. Eve Lorgen's interview with Andy Pero was a long time ago. This was in the 1997, 1998 interview, written interview with him. So apparently what certain SSP assets experiencers have been reporting since the 2000s, Andy Pero talked about that in the 1990s. I don't think that's a coincidence. A lot of things are aligning and making more sense because of others' testimony previously. Mind control, cloning, that being real, creating super soldiers, that was in my remote viewing. And Andy's testimony, as weird as that sounds, does not sound weird to me. Some of that same stuff, same things came up in my remote viewing, came up in my own SSP experiences from what I've shared in the past. So this does not surprise me at all. It's actually information that is continuing to make more sense now that I've gone deeper into the research. Now that this remote viewing happened, it's all interconnecting the information together for me. And that many different Black Ops groups, programs, organizations, secret societies exist. They use mind control. They train you in different weapons so that you can perform missions. You can be support staff. They train you in technology. They enhance your abilities, give you more strength, intelligence, speed, and other abilities so that you can perform as a super soldier, a trained military type or corporate type asset, SSP asset, super soldier, or other avatars or other things you do in the programs, because there's more than that. There is also the extraterrestrial space programs, not just the human run ones. I've seen Nordics work with the human space program factions, planetary corporations. I've seen lunar space operations on the moon train humans how to interact with extraterrestrials, what to expect when you're out in space, how to deal with different extraterrestrials, the customs, the cultures, the respectful way you need to address extraterrestrials, knowing what species they are, where they come from, what they do, what not to do yourself, so that you don't disrespect them or get in trouble during extraterrestrial interactions. That's what they train you in these secret space programs on lunar space operations before you venture out further into space and service. That 16 back, 50, 40, 20 on Mars, the moon, elsewhere. That's part of that training as well. There's the dumb spaces on Earth, what's under our feet, the cloning facilities, the mind control facilities, the monitoring by these programs. That stuff is very much been going on since the 1950s, earlier, and now, still goes on now. And various extraterrestrial factions keeping an eye on humans, whether for more positive reasons and some for more nefarious purposes, because they also have their own hybridization programs like the Greys, the Draco, reptilians, running things behind the scenes, politicians, government, money, education, influencing human society and how they want humans to be controlled. That stuff is real. It's been happening for a long time. And the human-run puppet cabal types, Illuminati types, and other cult-like groups and organizations that have infiltrated human society and tried to mind control people, to do things for them in very dark and negative ways. This is part of human history and what has been going on for a very long time, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Enough with the covert programs, enough of the mind control, enough of the Manchurian candidates, the super soldiers, enough. Let humans have the truth. Let us live in peace. Let us live free lives without enslavement, without greed, without competition, without pitting us against each other and competing to have a normal life. All of that is not healthy to do that, but we've been made to do that, whether we wanted that or not. And I don't think anybody wants any of what's going on here, but it's been forced on us in secrets, behind the scenes, and blatantly in front of our eyes, in certain things that were launched on us throughout the last 3 years that nobody wanted, but it was an experiment. So a lot's going on, and secrets. What other secrets will come out, and what's still hidden that needs to be exposed, disclosed, and totally come out in the open for what it is. What PSYOPs programs are still being run? What systems still need to be exposed for what they are, for the dark things that they are? This is what we're in right now, the exposure of what needs to be exposed. 2023 until 2030, 2035. This is the time of exposure. This is the time of disclosure of all these things coming out. The injustices, the depravities, the crimes against humanity. That's what needs to come out. Because there's been human trafficking, there's been organ harvesting, there's been cloning, there's been unlawful programs of mind control, super soldier creation, on-planet, off-world, underground, dumb spaces, mind control of the whole populace. The whole gamut has been run, and other experiments on humans. Human experimentation, energy-directed weapons, DEWs, directed energy weapons, that's the other name for it, playing around with energy that we shouldn't be to make people sick, mind and body sickness. That's been done. It's been shown in the remote viewing. A lot of things going on. The broader picture of reality, where the reality is not normal. It's totally different. It's evolving. Every day there's something new happening. Evolution is expanding. Thought consciousness, human body, soul evolution. That's going on. We are evolving. Intelligence is evolving in our consciousness. We're not the same beings we were even 5 days ago. There is constant evolution going on to help us wake up to this reality, what's beyond 3D, the truth, the real truth, not what we've been hand-fed or told, but the real reality. What's going on here? We deserve the truth. So I just wanted to kind of give an update report on what's going on, and we deserve to know the truth. So thank you so much, and namaste.